This is Bryce Canyon National Park. It's a short drive from Zion National Park, so if you ever decide to go to Zion, definitely take an extra day to head up to Bryce Canyon. It's a pretty place. You could spend a day there too, and pretty much see quite a bit of the park. It has some good trails. They are steep in the canyon, so definitely watch out. Because what I think a lot of people don't think about when they go higher up in the mountains like this is your air is so much thinner than what it is from where you're living, and it's very hard on your lungs. So even if you're in shape, you're still going to be out of breath at this place. Because if you're like me down in Houston, we're pretty close to sea level, and Bryce Canyon is up in the 8,000 to 9,000 feet. So a lot of times Kate and I were hiking and we were out of breath, and it's not really that we were out of shape, it's just this air was so thin and our lungs were having to work extra hard just to be able to cope with getting enough air to, send into the rest of the body to be able to keep on going. So if you go hiking here, even Zion Park would had and I believe in the 7,000 elevation, so even down there it was hard to breathe.
Yeah.
So one tip about Bryce Canyon, we saw several signs around that talked about lightning storms. So if there's a potential for rain and storms for the day, don't go visit this park because it's so high up in the air and there's not a lot of coverage. It's suggested staying inside your car whenever there are lightning storms. If you decide to visit the park, there's definitely a good amount of places to stay in the town right outside the park. There's grocery stores, even a few restaurants. It's a cute little town to visit. So a little bit about the park. Bryce Canyon is mostly known for its hoodoos, which is what is behind me. So how the park was formed, it's a part of the Colorado Plateau. It's a region of the present-day southwest United States that was periodically flooded by freshwaters and marine landscape. So over the years, fine-grained sediments have been washed away with the constant rain and freezing and unfreezing of all the materials, and that's how the canyons were created. It's very, very muddy here, and there was a lot of snow in places, so if you decide to go in the earlier part of the year, definitely rent some spikes for your boots. Thankfully we had our trekking poles which have spikes on the bottom that kind of helped us out, but we're still slipping and sliding in some of the areas. So our next stop was going to be Great Basin National Park. We did make it there, but unfortunately the roads and some of the trails were still covered in snow, so we didn't get to spend the time like we wanted to there. But we didn't realize that Death Valley was right next to the border, so we decided to go stop there instead. We stayed for one night. Unfortunately, it was a terrible experience because the wind picked up so high and there was sand going everywhere. My tent ended up falling apart in the middle of the night, and I ended up just throwing it in the back of the car, and I slept in the car, but Kate somehow managed to make it through the night. So we ended up not staying another night because the winds were going to be worse than the previous night, so we decided just to go ahead and spend the night in Las Vegas and spend the rest of our time there before we left. There's a couple different options to stay in Death Valley. It is such a big park. We ended up staying in a little slot that's a kind of a first come first serve place. When you go to there, do not buy the gas at the area where everybody camps at. The price was so high. You'll see in a minute what the price was. If you go to some of the other gas stations, it was considerably a lot cheaper. I want to say about $2.50 to almost $3 a gallon cheaper. So don't get hooked up into that visitor center area. That gas was just ridiculous. There is quite a bit of hiking here. You could definitely spend several days in this place, and one day I hope to go back and hike some more, but we just didn't have the time. One of the cool things about the park is that the military flies their jets and does practicing in the area, so it was a little loud, but it was really neat to watch those guys do their practice testing. This makes me think of Step Brothers more than anything.
Is it Golden Pea?
Huh? The Golden Pea? No, it's I think it's at the very end. Send it that high. Our last night was spent in Las Vegas. We'd never been there before, so we decided to hit the Strand and see what it was all about. I did actually do a little bit of gambling. I put $20 in and came out with the $55, and I figured it was a win, so might as well quit while I was ahead. The next day we head to Hoover Dam to check that out. It's about a 45-minute drive from Las Vegas, so if you're gonna go visit there, definitely check out Hoover Dam because it's really close, and it was pretty neat. To see the dam. It is very big. You can take tours around the dam. We didn't have as much time, so we had to skip on that part, but it's worth a shot to go out there, check it out. It is very pretty sights. about wraps up this trip. Thank you guys for sticking with me and watching. Hope you guys learned a few things and maybe just find some new places to go visit. So I will see you guys next time, and we'll see what America's Backyard has to offer for us.